Kansas 3.5 earthquake followed by 2.8 in Texas. This is the exact area of the Midcontinental rift that a lot of people aren't referring to, but it's there, and it has a magma plume right under it, as you can see right here. The west part is going through the areas of Oklahoma, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, and the eastern part of it goes right under the New Madrid seismic zone. Let's take a look at the maps. Seismo Berkeley, and I use this map because so we can quickly take off the smaller quakes. Okay, let's take off the little ones so we can take a look at the bigger ones more easily. Okay, here we are. We're talking about this one here. Harrington, Kansas. Okay, 5 kilometers depth, 3 miles down. And this one is the same again, 3 miles down. Van Horn, Texas. And this is where the area of the Midcontinental rift is, around the Great Lakes. Lake Superior going down this way, all the way down to Texas. And the eastern part going around here, New Madrid seismic zone. And this is what it looks like. This is the plume, which has magma under it. Okay, this is the Midcontinental Rift, MCR, over the Great Lakes, Lake Superior, and going through Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, and the eastern part going through the rift and the other rift zone, which is, of course, New Madrid seismic zone, which should be called a rift zone. That's a real foot rift zone. So this body has magma underneath. They don't know where the magma is coming from. This is the exact shaded area we're looking at. And it's causing rifts. That's why we have an uptick recently. We have an uptick from what the geologists are telling us of the New Madrid seismic zone here. And we can even see them in the Canada quakes. Ooh, okay, I didn't see it today. But, oh, okay, we have a big one, 3.2, Port Alice. That's just basically northwest of Vancouver Island. And we have even more around Montreal. Okay, New Brunswick, 2 magnitude, and that's around Montreal again. Seismic zone Quebec, 1.4, and this is what we had. Yesterday, it was a 3.1 by USGS, 3.7 in Canada, the Canadian Geological Survey. New York State, that was Glen Falls, upstate New York. Okay, you can see that we do have activity there as well. You can see. Now going back to the map, and this is where our shake map is. Let's go to our shake map. There we go. Okay. Unfortunately, they stop at this square. But if you were to extrapolate this out, look how intense these the shaking frequencies show. They could go up to here. Okay, this was a 3.5. I mean, by the time they sort of peter out, where would it go? Okay, you can understand what I'm saying, right? Okay, let's pull out and you can see the area of the Kaweenaw fault, right here, the New Madrid, the Midcontinental rift, going all the way down to Texas this way. That's the western arm. That's where we have all these quakes. I don't believe that they're all fracking earthquakes because we have magma under there. And this is the eastern part going under the New Madrid seismic zone, which is another rift valley. Basically, that magma, they don't know where it's coming from. We know we have magma under here. We had the 5.5 Baja California quake a few days ago, and that has the another magma body feeding the west coast area, high threat volcanoes, and the east part of that goes into Yellowstone. Okay, so we don't know. Is this body perhaps coming from what is feeding also the areas of here, Puerto Rico and the Greater and Lesser Antilles? All these are volcanic islands, as we know. We have volcanoes in Mexico, volcanoes in Guatemala. And we have asphalt volcanoes right here around the Gulf of Mexico. Something new that they found. Okay, so this is what we have here. Our body of magma. And in the area of this earthquake. Tectonic summary. Most of North America east of Rocky Mountains has infrequent earthquakes. Here and there earthquakes are more numerous, for example, New Madrid seismic zone, centered on southeastern Missouri, and the Clairvaux-Kamouraska seismic zone of eastern Quebec, New England, New York. That's what we saw this going on, okay? And Philadelphia, Wilmington, urban corridor. However, most of the enormous region from the Rockies to the Atlantic can go years without an earthquake large enough to be felt. Well, we're having more felt earthquakes here. We are having more felt earthquakes. Okay, 41 reported to USGS. I'm sure hundreds have felt it. Now, the earthquakes east of the Rocky Mountains, although less frequent, felt over a much broader region than earthquakes of similar magnitude in the west. East of the Rockies, an earthquake can be felt over an area more than 10 times larger than similar magnitude earthquakes on the west coast. It would not be unusual for a magnitude 4 earthquake in eastern or central North America to be felt by a significant percentage of the population in many communities more than 60 miles from its source. A magnitude 5.5. So the 4 earthquake, let's see. Okay, this was 3.5. So 4 earthquake, 60 miles. 60 miles? Where would that have been extending? Let's see. Go up to miles. Okay, 60 miles. Around here. Okay, around here. It would have been felt around here. Okay? That's the extent of the feeling of it, of this size. Okay. 5.5, 300 miles from its source. Now, most earthquakes in North America east of the Rockies occur as faulting within bedrock, usually miles deep. Few earthquakes east of the Rockies, however, have been definitely linked to mapped geological faults, in contrast to situations of plate boundaries such as California, where scientists can commonly use geologic evidence to identify which fault produced the large quakes. Scientists who study east and central North America earthquakes often work from the hypothesis that modern earthquakes occur as a result of slip and pre-existing faults that were formed in earlier geologic areas. The bedrock eastern North America is, however, laced with faults that were active in earlier geological eras, and few of these faults are known to have been active in current geologic era. In most areas east of the Rockies, the likelihood of future damaging earthquakes is currently estimated from the frequencies and sizes of instrumentally recorded earthquakes. And then they go into induced seismicity, like by fracking man-made earthquakes. But they don't go into the fact that in this area is located the Midcontinental Rift, the Kaweenaw Fault. This is it right here, just into the Great Lakes region. Okay, that's Lake Erie, that's Lake Ontario, that's Lake Superior over here. Okay, so that is going into the central United States, and this is going into the eastern area of it is going into the New Madrid seismic zone area. So basically you have the continental United States splitting into, this is it right here, like this, splitting into 3. This rift zone here, New Madrid rift zone, is splitting this going towards the east, towards the southeast. Then you have this part of the Midcontinental Ridge splitting here. That would be this split here. And then you have this bigger piece here. So it's not that we're at the edge of a tectonic plate. The edge of the tectonic plate is over here. But we have a rift valley. Just like we have a rift zone, just like we have in right here in Africa. the Great Rift Valley of Africa. Okay, that's a rift valley. You can see it splitting up. At one point, this is going to, we have rivers and volcanoes. At this point, it's going to split and come off, just like this came off. And this, there's another, the Transjordanian Rift Valley here, right here, going through Israel. That's another very dangerous fault. You can see the splitting right here, okay, the Red Sea and the Dead Sea and Galilee. Galilee is a volcano. It's a crater lake. Galilee is a volcano, and all around there, they have spring baths, hot springs, because there's magma under there. And those hot springs were around since antiquity. Remember all those Roman bathhouses? They were all around Galilee, and they still are. You know, there's still, a lot of them are still there for spring baths. People go there for spring baths. Okay, so because there's magma underneath. Okay, so that's what I wanted to tell you. These are quakes having to do with. I don't believe that they're all of them are man-made earthquakes caused by hydraulic fracturing. It has to do with what's under there, the magma body under there, and the geologists don't know where it's coming from. And let's go here towards the, you can see here the magma is underneath, splitting up, okay. Did a hotspot supply excess magma? The Midcontinental Rift is an extraordinary feature that arose from the unusual combination of continental rift over 1 billion years. And we do have it's a failed rift because of regional compression. Okay. Insights to other rifts in continental margins. And mineral deposits, copper, a lot of minerals. And we have a magma body there. Okay. Deposits shape the region's settlement and growth, water flowing through the volcanic rocks, dissolved copper. And this is again, you know, these are volcanoes. They were volcanoes there. Okay. Now, today, East Africa rock rift looks like what we envisioned the Midcontinental Rift during rifting, a gravity low velocities, high temperatures. Southern Oklahoma, a failed rift that opened the Cambrian breakup of Rodinia, was inverted in the late Paleozoic. Okay. So this has the detail. I'll leave you a link for this. You can read through it. There's also an embedded video. And at the end, it does say in there that we have magma under there and that they don't know where it's coming from. You could watch that if you'd like. And okay, so this is the beautiful part of the lake. This is what makes it so beautiful. Okay, so keep that in mind that we have magma under there, and it has been felt, even though it was reported by a few people. 41, it has been felt. I'll leave links below for you for this. Thank you. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.